Hi everyone, this is Tim back with Ring Squad. Almost forgot the name, it's been so long. Doing another episode of Yes, No, Maybe So. Yes, No, Maybe So. I'm standing up. Sitting down, I felt a little constrained, so I'm sitting up, doing all these hand motions that I can't control, but here we are, standing up, doing a video, Yes, No, Maybe So, of Money in the Bank 2020. Before we get into that though, just want to apologize for the lack of videos. Things kind of caught up with me, and then, I had to balance everything. Plus, we're just living in crazy times. So, that's what's going on, but I plan to get back on track. Releasing like 4 or 5 videos a week is my goal. Doing Yes, No, Maybe So's, Fantasy Fridays, some other ideas I have in mind. So, yeah, be on the lookout for those. And also, maybe some other things. Got some ideas. More than videos, podcasts maybe, and other things. So we'll see what happens. But right now, it's time for Yes, No, Maybe So of Money in the Bank 2020. And the majority of the show was in the Performance Center. I don't do the pre-show reviews. That's just a personal thing I do. Cesaro, Jeff Hardy was the pre-show. No great, though. Jeff Hardy won. Jeff Hardy's back. It's kind of a little interesting to see where Jeff Hardy goes with Matt Hardy being in AEW. Jeff Hardy kind of having his own issues, see how far he gets pushed, what they do with him, if he has another world title reign. But like I said, no grade, kind of just speculation. The first match of the night was the tag team Fatal 4-Way no disqualification match between New Day, reigning champs, Miz and Morrison, hey hey, ho ho, Lucha House Party, Lucha, and Forgotten Sons. I don't know anything they do besides do unto others. But yeah, so no Usos, which was a big thing. I give this match a yes. It's kind of on the lower scale of the yes, kind of closer to the 90 than the 100, as I like to say. But it was overall pretty good. They did some good moves. Lucha House Party was highlighted more than expected. At one point, I think it was Lince Dorado it was Lince Dorado. He did back handspring stunner, so that was pretty cool. I never saw a stunner done like that before. I've seen Leo Rush's stunner and I've seen the Stone Cold stunner, but I've never seen like handspring into the ropes and then back into a stunner, so that was kind of cool. Big moves here and there. Morrison did his parkour stuff. Forgotten Sons had a highlight. At one point, though, it was kind of confusing that Jackson Ryker was with Forgotten Sons. He was on the end, which I don't really know why he doesn't wrestle. He seems like the biggest badass of them all, so he should probably be wrestling more, but whatever. He was on the outside. He pulled the rope down. I think it was Morrison was going against the ropes and he pulled him down, and then the ref was like, hey, don't do that. I'm throwing you out, but it's no DQ. Like, why can't he do that? No DQ. I get like refs distress and saying, hey, he's fiddling around a lot and messing with the match, but like, it's no DQ. So what are you gonna do about it? But in the end, New Day retained. 8-time, as Kofi was doing, 8-time champs retaining. Big E had 2 really funny moments even before the match started. He said, "Oh, people at home," and that was really funny. I got a kick out of that. And then also at one point, when all the other teams were going, he was like sitting on the ropes, like the middle turnbuckle with his legs like spread. You can't see my legs in this shot, but legs spread. And that was pretty fun. Just Big E, all like 350 pounds of them, just like spread on the turnbuckle. So that was pretty cool. But New Day retained. It's a yes. It's an obvious choice. And if anything, Miz and Morrison were going to win it back. Lucha House Party is kind of just always there as fodder, unfortunately. And Forgotten Sons are the Forgotten Sons. So, moving on. The second match was let's see if I can remember off the top of my head. I forgot to take notes. It was I honestly forget, so I'll come back to it if it comes into... it was R-Truth versus MVP. MVP came out and said some things, and he's like, R-Truth like rapped to nobody, which was really funny. And then he made fun of the ball that MVP did, which is like 14 years old. Right? Can you believe that song came out like 14 years ago? Jeez. Ballin'. And then Bobby Lashley just came out. Bobby Lashley was like, hey, take a seat. I'm doing this now. And MVP's like, sure, whatever. I'm like 80 years old now, so yeah, go for it. And Bobby Lashley beat R-Truth pretty handily, so I think that's my edge. So, like, Bobby Lashley beat R-Truth. Cool, whatever. R-Truth. It was kind of weird that this wasn't the pre-show match. You would think putting Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro on the main show instead of this would have made a little more sense, but it just gets a so. It's a so what. Like, cool, Bobby Lashley beat R-Truth. Doesn't really help anyone, doesn't really progress any storyline, doesn't really do anything. So, be interesting if, like, the MVP got somebody else he was, like, representing, because he's supposed to represent people, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes, but it's a so. Then we had the two title matches, I believe. It was the Universal title match for Braun versus Bray. That was the first one. This was kind of like it was Bray Wyatt, not The Fiend. So I guess that's how they got out of the corner that they booked themselves into. Yeah, they made it Bray. He wrestled in a sweater and jeans, it looked like. So that was kind of interesting. And the whole thing was like, Braun was part of the Wyatt family. Bray wants him back. He wants to make him better, all this stuff. Bray got in some decent offense. I like the dynamic between Bray and The Fiend. You know, like, they're two different characters. It's not like Finn Balor versus Demon Finn Balor, where Demon Finn Balor is just a little angrier. Like, it's like Bray Wyatt and The Fiend. They're two separate entities. So that's pretty cool. I said on Reddit during the live discussion that it's kind of like the Umbridge Voldemort effect. Like, Voldemort is obviously the big bad in Harry Potter, but he's so fantastical and so mythical that it's kind of just like you don't really believe in it. Versus Umbridge was like, you've had teachers like that, you've had administration like that, you've had bosses like that before where they didn't hear your side, but they were like human. You know, and that's kind of the thing. Like, Bray is just as creepy, if not creepier, as Bray Wyatt versus The Fiend. So I like it. I like it a lot. At one point near the end of the match, Bray hit the Sister Abigail and Braun kicked out. So that's kind of interesting. I think they might be actually pushing Braun until Roman Reigns comes back. And then near the end of the match, Braun was thrown out of the ring, and then he put on the black sheep mask from the Wyatt family days, and Bray's like, oh yeah, you're like turning on to me, and they hug it out, and then Braun just takes off the masks, stomps on it, hits Bray a few times with some moves, and then power slam 1, 2, 3. This gets a maybe. It's not quite a so because it actually had a good story, and it's kind of interesting to see where it goes. It doesn't get a no because, like, it was pretty well produced match. Bray was in character. He was doing a lot of character stuff. The story was there. It doesn't get a yes because it doesn't really excite me, and I'm not really more curious. But it gets a maybe because we'll see how long Braun as Universal Champ goes. Everybody thought he would just be a filler, kind of like a transition champ, but now that Roman Reigns is kind of like not here and he was the go-to guy, maybe Braun actually gets pushed as champion. We'll see what happens. Maybe he has like a lengthy, like 6 to 9 month reign. It's kind of crazy. And then see what happens with Bray. Like, where does he go? He's running out of people. Harper is in AEW. Braun beat him. So unless he comes back as The Fiend to get revenge, you know, that's something there. Or, like, who else in his past? He already got Cena. He already got a lot of people, so yeah. But it's a maybe, because I'm curious to see if they go back to The Fiend and Bray Wyatt just doing non-title stuff and see where Braun goes. So it's a maybe. It's a maybe. Then it was the WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre against Seth Rollins. He's not Scottish, I don't know why I did that. Seth Rollins came out to new music, very like holy, majestic music. So they're going all in on this new character. Not Seth Rollins isn't all in, but they're going all in on Seth Rollins, so that's cool. I really like his character. This was actually probably, besides Money in the Bank matches, I think this was match of the night for me. So it gets a yes. It was a pretty competitive match under circumstances. It was back and forth. The only thing, and I can't be too mad about it because it ended up being a good match and a good rivalry, is that Seth Rollins lost at WrestleMania, but then he ended up being number one contender. Like, at least have him win something first, or at least have Kevin Owens like be number one contender and save Seth for SummerSlam, you know. But the match was good. They proved that wrong, so I can't be too mad about it. The match was really back and forth. There was a lot of countering, which was good. I don't like that means it kind of scouted each other in kayfabe, so that's pretty cool. Drew McIntyre just looks like the champ. Like, I can't remember a better looking champ, literally and figuratively, than Drew McIntyre. He just has the aura, he has the presence, he has the mentality of a champ. He's jacked, so it's great to see him as champ. Back and forth, at the end they hit each other. Drew kicked out at one out of a curb stomp, I believe, and then he kicked out a one out of the Falcon Hour, the suplex Falcon Hour move, which impressed my roommate who doesn't watch wrestling, so kudos to Seth for impressing non-wrestling fans. But yeah, a lot back and forth. I feel like they're really pushing McIntyre as like a beast. And that's kind of ironic, but as like a dude who will just kick out of finishers at like one. Like, it's pretty interesting that they're booking a very grounded. It's kind of like what they should if Brock Lesnar was every day. It's kind of cool. But as a face, and so he's cool. That's really cool. I should stop saying cool. I've been watching a lot of Community. Cool. But there was back and forth in the end. It was super kick and then Glasgow headbutts with Glasgow kisses. At one point, Drew was in the tree of woe, got up, and I think he tried the belly to belly, but he either didn't have the grip or Seth just like overlaunched himself, because Seth ended up rotating and landing on his belly. So that was just kind of like ooh. But it looked vicious, which was cool. But yeah, they hit a few moves, super kicks, headbutts. Seth went for the curb stomp, and Drew moved out of the way, caught him with a choke slam, and then just straight up headbutted him. That's kind of funny. And then he ended up claymoring him off the ropes. 1, 2, 3. Drew retains. It was a solid 20-minute match. Then they shook hands at the end. So overall, the match gets a yes. I don't know why they shook hands. I can understand why Drew offered his hand. He's like a fighting champ and he's a good sport and all that stuff. But Seth is a pretty swarmy heel, and he should just be like, he should have just been like, no, fuck you. But I can't say that on YouTube. No, get away from me. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I was very mixed about that part, but overall it's a yes. And then we get to the Money in the Bank matches happening at the same time at WWE headquarters in Connecticut, and with a ring on the roof, and the briefcase is above the ring at the same time. So I'm gonna try to give it an overall grade, but also grade the segments in between, because this was just I don't even know how to explain what happened. It was a cinematic match, so it was pre-recorded and it was edited and cut, and no commentary until the very end. So that was kind of cool. It was kind of like, oh wait, there's no commentary. So the guys started off, it was Daniel Bryan, Aleister Black, Otis, AJ Styles, Corbin, and Rey Mysterio. They started in the gym, which I guess headquarters has a gym. And then the women, which was Carmella, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Dana Brooke, Asuka, and somebody else. Lacey Evans. They were in the lobby. So it was kind of like, it wasn't just like, hey, we're going to open the doors and you go in. They started at different locations. The men just start beating each other up in the gym. The women start off. Asuka was the last one to come in. So they were playing music, and people would come out to their music. But then Asuka was not there. So it was like, hey, where's Asuka? Where's Asuka? And she was on the balcony and just jumped off crossbody everyone, did her little woo woo dance, and then got into the elevator and then danced in the elevator. So that was kind of funny. The guys were beating up each other in the gym. At one point, Corbin threw a weight at the mirror. Haven't seen that spot 3 million times yet, but they're at the mirror. Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black did acrobatic stuff around the weights. At one point Mysterio landed on a weight thing, and then tried to do the push. When you get into the turnbuckle and you push off and the guy runs on you. He tried to do that, but Aleister just kneed him in the gut. So they went back and forth. At one point, Otis weighted AJ Styles down. So AJ was like, no, and he tried to get Ray, and Ray was like, no, I'm gonna go to the roof now. So he got stuck, and Otis was like, "Oh yeah!" I love Otis. I love Otis so much. And then they got into the elevator, and they got up to a different part of the building where Styles, no, Styles was still down. Brian was hitting Corbin. They had like a set of ropes, like half a ring, kind of like a wall of ropes. Corbin got stuck, and Brian was doing his kicks. I can't even like get that high, but yeah, like those kicks. And Otis was off to the side going, yes, yes, yes. And then Brian was like, oh wait, I can beat you up too, and started beating him up, and then they ran away. And then Doink the Clown just appeared for no reason. Like literally just in like a button down like white collar shirt. Like it was a blue dress down, and he just showed up in hair and makeup and then just went back down behind the chair. It was kind of weird. It's kind of weird cameo. And the women were fighting in the hallway. They got into a conference room. It was all Money in the Bank posters. It was Nia Jax got thrown in, and then Carmella got thrown in, and Shayna Baszler came, and Dana Brooke was in, and they were fighting each other. Dana Brooke took a steal, or Nia Jax hit Shayna Baszler, and then hit Nia Jax with a chair. Carmella was like thrown in and knocked out immediately. But then there was a case. It was a clear case. It wasn't one of the briefcases. It was a clear case with money. So Dana Brooke thought that was it and brought it down, thought she won. Then Stephanie McMahon came out and was like, hey, it's on the roof. And like, first of all, why are you doing that? Second of all, Dana, how do you not know that's not the right briefcase? I mean, the men's have been doing this for like 15 years, I think. Yeah, 15 years, holy crap. And then, like, you know what the briefcase looks like because the women have had one for the past 3 years. So, like, you obviously know that's not the right briefcase, and you know it's on the roof. Like, it's not. Either WWE needs to say it's hidden somewhere in headquarters, or have Dana go to the roof and not fall for that. So that was kind of weird. Then they ended up. All of them ended up in like a lobby. Like it looked like a cafeteria, but Paul Heyman was just eating. He had an entire table of catering to himself. And the guys came from one end, girls came from the other, and then they had a standoff, and Otis just saw all the food, and he started going like, and then just yelled, food fight, threw stuff at Heyman, and then everybody started throwing food at each other. That was kind of weird. It is what it is, but it was kind of just like comic relief in an already comedy match. Then Otis ended up going into like the cafeteria, and he was just like, oh yeah, pies, food, oh yeah. And then Laurinaitis came in on a cart and just said, people power. Except he said it like, people power. And then Otis threw a pie in his face and walked away. That was it. He didn't even take the cart or anything. He just like threw a pie at John Laurinaitis and then left. Then the women made it up. Women made it up first. By the way, this entire time AJ Styles is just going through getting scared by things. He's going after Rey Mysterio for leaving him in the weight room, and he like sees a poster of Rey Mysterio and he gets scared, and then he sees a poster of the Undertaker and he gets scared, and then he opens up a door looking for Mysterio, and it's the Undertaker Blacklight and a casket, and he's like, oh man, what's going on here? And Aleister Black like throws him in and closes the door, and then you hear AJ Styles knocking, but like AJ, just open up the door, it's not locked. But yeah, so that was kind of weird. I don't know what's going on there, if that's going to be a continuing thing with AJ like always being spooked. So they eventually did make it up to the roof, and Asuka made it first, and she's fighting, and then she knocks out a few of the women, but then she starts to climb the ladder, and then Baron Corbin climbs the ladder, and then both briefcases are there, and then Asuka knocks off Baron Corbin for, I guess no reason, but I guess she's like, I don't want anybody in my way, like I don't want anybody to mess with me, I want a clear shot at the briefcase, and she ends up getting the briefcase and she wins. Asuka's Miss Money in the Bank, and I think that's the perfect choice. She's been holding up Raw and Raw like in this empty arena era. She's great charismatically. She has great charisma. It's probably a better way to put that. She deserves another main event shot. So yeah, she has it. She's gonna be great at it. And then the guys were there. All the guys came up. They started fighting around. Otis tried to climb the ladder, but then he kept breaking the first step, and then he tried to get up and he couldn't get it. And then AJ Styles came in with a forearm and Corbin was beating up guys outside. He threw Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black off the side of the roof. So, like, I guess you're supposed to assume there's, like, a balcony or something they landed on, but they didn't show that. They literally just showed them being thrown off the roof. So, Baron Corbin killed 2 people. 2, like, pretty popular people, too. And then the ending happened. It was Corbin and AJ were on the ladder, either side, going up. They both grabbed the briefcase, took it off the hook at the same time. And then Elias came out of nowhere, hit Corbin with his guitar, and then that caused the briefcase to slip out of AJ's hands, even though he's wearing gloves. Have better grip on your gloves, AJ. Slipped out, and it landed, and Otis caught it. Otis wins. Otis is Money in the Bank. He literally just kind of went, yeah! And then he kissed it like he just won the world title. So, overall, it's a yes. I love these cinematic matches, as they're being called. It's great. It's funny. The results were great. Asuka, obviously. I think Asuka. Shayna Baszler was a dark horse, but Asuka definitely won. And then Otis also. He should. He's a great upper mid-carder, and he's a great act, and he's popular. Some people are speculating he may lose it, but until that storyline happens, he's Money in the Bank, and I think he'll cash it in sooner rather than later. That's my bold prediction. I think in this empty arena era with low viewership and a lot of YouTubes and highlights, maybe he should do, I don't know. You can't do a Money in the Bank cash-in without an audience, but at the same time, we don't know when audiences are coming back, so how long do you wait? You know, like, how do you wait until the summer when things get better? Like, do you do it at SummerSlam? Do you do it at later on? Like, do you wait until WrestleMania next year? I don't know. Who knows? But I think Otis will keep it. I don't think he'll lose it. He might put it on the line in matches here and there, but I think he'll eventually just cash it in. And it'll be a huge pop. Otis cashing in will probably be one of the biggest pops in WWE history. So, yeah. So, that's a yes. So, overall, the show gets a yes. Recommend watching Money in the Bank matches just because they're so unique and so crazy, and I couldn't do it justice. And watch Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. And also, what thing that wasn't on the card that gets yes, the entire pay-per-view was 2.5 hours. Money in the Bank was a shorter pay-per-view than Raw. Like, I literally, it started at 7. Money in the Bank cashed in, credits rolled up, and then just, yeah. I was like, holy crap, it's only like 9:30. I'm going to watch The Last Dance because I only pitched the first half hour. Like, yeah. So, and then I watched The Last Dance. But, yeah, so yes to the time. Like, making it 2.5 hours. Only put 4 or 5 matches. I'll put both matches at the same time. Like, do this more often, WWE. Like, have shorter pay-per-views. Like, that's why takeovers are so good. They only have 5 or 6 matches and they only last 2.5 to 3 hours. Do that more often. Like, put the titles on the line, the 2 main matches, 2 big things, like the 2 world titles, maybe put in a women's match and a personal match, and then have a big event, or only put 5 or 6 titles on the line. Like, you don't have to have every title on the line at every single pay-per-view, because that's how cards get bloated. 2.5 hours for Money in the Bank. Do it more often. But overall, show gets a yes. Like I said, there was the R-Truth, Bobby Lashley gets a so, and the Universal title gets a maybe, but overall, it was a solid show. You know, for under the circumstances and for what WWE has to deal with nowadays, it's been pretty good. I'm like, obviously could be better with the fans and maybe better storylines, but we'll see once everybody comes back. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so, I've been Tim. Follow me on the social medias, Facebook, Twitter. Still working on getting on the grams, still working on the Snapchats. But yeah, follow me at Squadcast. So, SQWADCAST. And Twitter is at Kinsella Comedy. Facebook is Squadcast. Yeah, check us out. The videos will be in both those places, and YouTube at Squadcast. Look that up. We got some other Squadcast variations coming out as well. So check us out. Awkward Outro. As always, I've been Tim. Follow us on the social media. And if you comment what you think, which, sure, do that. Subscribe. That helps a lot too if you subscribe. Spread the word. And enjoy our videos. I'll catch you next time. So, I've been Tim. I'll see you guys later.